I'm Richard Lewis, reporting from cadred.org here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. And next to me is a very handsome and dapper looking Todd in his suit, because he switched from playing at this event to being a caster. So let's start with the interview there. When we last interviewed you, we were asking you about, you wanted to maybe move into commentary more, and now it's happened, and it's happened at a very big event. So first of all, how did it come about that you ended up casting here?
ESL and the Intel Extreme Masters, they gave me the chance to do the analysis in Poland, in Katowice, and I think it was a success. It went pretty well. It was not just only fun for me. I think we also did a pretty good job of really trying to explain to the viewers what was happening in each of the games. And after that, I had already expressed that I would like to try the commentary as well, because that's initially what I wanted to do, but I did not mind the analysis. I mean, it's okay as well to do the analysis, it's very fun, but I really wanted to give a shot to the commentary. So I told them for this event that I wanted to do the commentary, and originally I was supposed to do the analysis, but then somebody ended up cancelling. So instead of really trying to find someone to replace the people who originally had cancelled, they decided to give me my chance, and I really appreciate it. And I think this is going well so far. Then it's only up to the people who watch to decide whether or not they like my cast, and to make some noise about it if they want it to happen again, because that's how basically the rate of the success of this event will be decided.
Well, is it a different set of pressures? Because when you're a player and you've got to beat somebody, I imagine it's easy to focus. You know what you have to do, you know what race they play, you know what builds are going to work. But now when you're a commentator, the pressure's different. Like you say, you've got to make more people enjoy what you do. So how are you coping with that pressure?
At first, I actually had a lot of pressure because I'm more of a player, not a talker, so it was a little bit tough. But eventually, I think I started gaining some experience. I mean, I already casted a tournament back in the Warcraft 3 days for GOM TV with Rotterdam, and then after that, I got some experience at the Home Story Cup as well. I did the analysis, which wasn't casting, but I still had to talk a whole lot. So in the end, no, I don't really feel any pressure. I just try to enjoy the moment. I try to have a good time, and then if I do, I'm sure the viewers will as well.
What about being, I know, because you're quite analytical in your approach to the game, and you're always being labelled the analysis guy, this intelligent player. When you said, I want to do play-by-play, was that because you feel you'll get more recognition for doing it? Is it because you want to show people that you've got more skills than just being Mr. Analysis Guy? What was the motivation to do that? Because it must have been quite hard to move out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's not exactly what I meant. What I meant by doing commentating instead of analysis was the analysis here is a desk where we talk before and after the games.
Oh, right.
So there isn't the excitement of leaving the action same time as the spectators and getting excited about it. You just talk about it after it, so you can get excited, but you've pretty much already seen it. What I wanted is something in the moment,
spontaneous.
Yeah, exactly. Where I talk about the game and I get excited about it as well. And about the analytical part, I know a lot of people have labeled me as the guy who gives a lot of small details and informations, try to reveal as much about what's happening, but I've been toning it down a little bit here because I'm doing the commentary and I don't want to say everything that's happening during the game. Otherwise, the analysis desk, what do? They will have nothing left to talk about. So I try to talk about as much as possible the important things, but I think the analysis and the commentary as two different desks, they really complete each other, because during the game a lot of the time you will not have the time to basically explain for a long time what exactly is happening, all the possibilities, and that's why this is done before and after the games. So during the games, even if sometimes I try to give as many details as I can, it still is closer to commentary than analysis, in my opinion. Just because we will always cut it short, I always pass it back to Apollo or Kelaris, and then from there they express their opinion as well. Whereas if you do the analysis at the analysis desk, you can literally talk for 5 minutes about strategies, and there is no game happening at the same time, so you don't need to interrupt yourself. You can show the replay if you want to. You can choose the scene that you will show. It's different, and I think both of the desks complete each other pretty well.
What do you make of the situation in StarCraft 2 when it comes to shoutcasters and players? Because it seems there's more shoutcasters than players sometimes. There seem to be so many of them, and when you see tournaments, I know there isn't literally, but you know, when you go to an event, you see maybe, you know, for example, one recently, 4 players, 12 shoutcasters, and you see events where the shoutcasters are the big stars and the players are kind of, you know, almost like second prize that they're mentioned about down here. Do you think that's fair to the players? Do you think that's a bit of an imbalance, or is it not something that bothers you?
This is a question I could give answers to for a very long time. There's a lot of things to talk about. First of all, I don't really think there is really any event where you see 4 players and 12 casters, but yeah, there is indeed some events where you see a couple of players. The thing is, if you have an event with even just 4 players, it will still be a lot of games, and you might need 2 to 3 to 4 casters. It really depends. I don't particularly have any feeling about this. I used to basically be upset at the fact that I knew that casters make a lot more money than players in general. But now that I've started casting myself, and I really gave a lot of thoughts about all this, my view is very different now. I know that every caster who are where they are now, for example, Day9, Husky, they've put an incredible amount of work into getting there. You know, Day9, he used to do those dailies for like no money. He did it every day. He took a lot of time out of him. He just did it for the love of the game. So he completely deserves his success. Same for Mr. Bitter. He had his own show. That's how he started. He did not have that many viewers. Now he's one of the most famous casters in the scene. Rotterdam as well. I mean, every caster, they started from pretty much nothing. And eventually, now we're at a state where the established casters, they go to the tournaments, they are paid really well. But I think pretty much all of them worked hard to get there, and I don't think it's as much as them who get too much money and the players not enough. The casters, they get paid well, good for them, we should be happy for them. I think it's some of the players who should be getting more money for the amount of practice they put in, all the stress they have to go through. I feel like the competitive scene as a player, most of them don't make enough money. Then there are exceptions, obviously. Some players are very well paid. For example, the players on EG.
Yeah.
I will talk about something a little bit different now.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Bitter, I had this discussion with him when I lived in the US, and we talked a very long time about it. And it was a little bit heated because back then I had the player's standing point of view, and he more of a caster. And he explained to me how, like, in every sports, when a sport began, first the players weren't paid much at all, and it was all about the commentators because they were the voice of the sports. But then as the sport evolved, they got more sponsors, and we could really discern who's the best players and who's not. And then all the players overall, they started getting paid more. And he was saying about, I think that's what he said, but how he thinks the same thing might happen over time with StarCraft. And I thought this made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, let's ask the last thing about this chunk of the interview, and then we'll move on. If you could click your fingers and be a top player, you win every tournament, gold medals, you know, trophies, the lot, or a top caster, and you get to go to all the events, and you're the star attraction, Day9's getting you coffee, and you know, everything like that, which one would you choose?
It's a really tough question. I've been a player for most of my career, pretty much all of it. I really enjoy casting now, but I think overall maybe I'm more of a player than a caster, for now at least. Maybe if I keep on casting as much as I do now, and I will still always play a lot, but I might learn to really consider myself as more of a caster than a player, even though these days I've played for like 10 years on and off, and now I've just been casting for a little while, so maybe a player for now, but in the future this answer might change.
Okay, right. Now, everyone's going to want to know your thoughts about Heart of the Swarm. I won't ask you all of it, 'cause again, too much to talk about, especially for somebody like yourself, Mr. Analysis. But Protoss, right? What do you think the new units are going to do to the meta of the game, and is there hope for Protoss players in this new patch?
Well, I think we saw in the Intel Extreme Master World Championships how the Protoss dealt with the situation. They've been using a lot of the new units. if we consider Void Race a new unit, I guess they've been using new units every game then. But yeah, we saw this target play, we saw the Mothership Core a lot, new timings being added on into the Protoss gameplay because of those units. And I think Protoss has a bright future, to be honest. I was playing myself these days, and I thought that against Zerg it was all right. But I kind of took it for granted because I just thought that PVZ was so tough in Wings of Liberty that it had to be better in Heart of the Swarm. So now it's better, and I was like, not thankful at all. I'm like, hey, it's normal, it's finally better. But I should be thankful that finally PVZ is better, and it might even be in the favor of Protoss. We do not know just yet. Against Terran, I think it's really tough right now. But I'm just so glad not to see Infestor Broodlord every game and a Zerg Turtling.
I think everyone's feeling like that. You know, I mean, that was the next question. You've preempted it. Do you think Heart of the Swarm makes it a much better spectator sport, if you like? Because all the games towards the end of Wings of Liberty were pretty much the same.
It's definitely better, yeah. I think Blizzard, they invest a lot of time into really making Heart of the Swarm a great game, and they will keep on doing so. In my opinion, in the future, you see they're really trying to, like, they have a representative here, making sure everything's okay. She fixed the maps on the first day, otherwise we wouldn't have had a tournament. So Blizzard, I feel they're getting really involved right now with esports more and more, and this can only go better from there. I'm pretty sure they will be actively patching, or at least always looking. They answer on the forums a lot, you know. You saw the situation when Heart of the Swarm was announced, and a lot of people were complaining about BattleNet in Wings of Liberty. They made a lot of requests, and I thought this was, like, a lot of the requests made sense, but the way it was done, it kind of felt like people were spoiled. You know, everybody was asking for their own thing. One guy was like, "Oh, I want to have clans on BNet." Or actually, a lot of people asked that, which is one of the most correct things to be asked. But yeah, so a lot of people asked for like some weird options to be added onto BattleNet, and to my surprise, Blizzard added almost every single thing that was asked to be added. So that's amazing, in my opinion. It really goes to show that they're listening to the community and they're ready to go forward with esports and StarCraft and make everything better.
Is that a move that's been kind of forced upon them, though? Because people talk about the dropping numbers, people talk that, you know, StarCraft's dead and it's got no future and blah, blah, blah. Blizzard, you know, some people are saying Blizzard have left it too late. And now, like you say, that they're really having a big push on helping the community. So do you think the community have kind of forced them into that position, or do you think Blizzard were always that caring, sharing company, just nobody really appreciated it?
Caring, sharing company, I'm not sure about that. In Wings of Liberty, I feel like there was definitely more that could have done, but I don't think anybody have forced Blizzard to do anything. You know, they make the best video games. Yep. They've always been doing so. They will continue to do so. And regardless of whether or not they would have added everything that had it into Wings, into Heart of the Swarm, I think it would still have been a success because everybody loves Blizzard games. They're always fun to play, and although they are not perfect, and people seem to expect a lot of them perfect games, there is no perfect games. There is very fun games. StarCraft is one of them. No, I don't think they were forced to do anything, to be honest. They just did that because they wanted.
Right, so last question before I let you go, because I know you casters, they don't get very long breaks. They get like 10 minutes and they're allowed a bit of water and some food, and then we've got to send them back. So who's going to win? Because you're the guy that everyone's going to be like, right, he knows. So who's going to win?
You know, I don't think I should be the guy who you asked this to, because I said Lucifer's going to play really well. He's out. MC is going to go far. He said he was going to win. Out. Before the tournament, I really wanted to think that Terran will do well, because in my opinion, they are one of the strongest, maybe the strongest race right now in Heart of the Swarm, but that's just my opinion. Don't hate me for it, please. It's just what I gathered and collected from my experience on Heart of the Swarm. But then I watched the games here, and it looks fairly balanced. I mean, Protoss looks very strong against Zerg. Terrans had not been doing well at first, but now finally we have Sting playing pretty well. Tomorrow we're going to have MVP playing. And if you look at the results, you might think that Terran is the weakest race right now, or Zerg. But I don't know, I feel like it's pretty fair. So far the games I've seen, I feel the player who plays better seems to win pretty much all the time. And especially in the ZVPs, like, that's such a weird feeling, because as you said, when we watch Wings of Liberty games, sometimes we would see a lot of similar games. Yeah. Now we saw like people mixing it up every single time from one game to another, playing it completely differently. And the people who are on shape here and who prepare the best and who've played the best, they've been doing the best results. Violet really impressed me. I have to say this. The LGIM team, and just the Koreans in general. You know, we have 24 players, 10 of them are Koreans. they've been dominating for the most part. Only MC was eliminated. Parting made it. All of the LGAM players, they won all of their series against people from other teams, except one game first lost against Reds. So far they have had a great showing. Their last player is MVP who plays tomorrow. Everybody has huge expectations out of him. And I think it might keep going this way. Koreans winning, LGIM doing well, Violet doing well. And for foreigners, we have Reds who showed really great games so far, who I think can go really far in this tournament if he keeps going this way.
Okay, well, that's great. Thanks a lot for your insight, and I'm sure you've got lots of fans out there that are going to be, fingers crossed that you don't slip up or say anything ridiculous on stream. So do keep up the good work. To all the people out there at cadred.org, do stay tuned to our website. We're going to have more interviews like this one from here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships in Hanover.